John Fisher just gave the biggest middle finger to a fan base we've ever seen. And if you didn't see this coming, I don't know what to tell you. You see, John Fisher for years has quietly been the worst owner in baseball. In the early 2000s, before John Fisher, the A's were one of the most impressive franchises in baseball. They had the total attention of the baseball world with Moneyball, they were coming off a record-breaking 20-game winning streak, and they were making the playoffs routinely. But since John Fisher took over, it's been a very slow and painful death for the Oakland A's. After years of refusing to hand out any money in free agency and consistently being in the bottom 5 in payroll, the stars aligned in 2019 with prospects that really paid off and made the A's serious contenders. They finished the season 97-65 and claimed the top wildcard spot. After experiencing this amount of success centered around such a young core, there was a ton of optimism about a 2020 run. They'd go on to win the AL West in 2020 for the first time in 7 years, but it came to a disappointing end after losing the Astros yet again. And shortly after, there were serious questions about how the front office would handle their young core. Marcus Semien, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Chris Bassett, and Sean Manaea were a core that could compete for a while. With all of them either hitting the free agent market in 2021 or 2022, the opportunity came for Fisher to show his true colors. We've seen cores get blown up before in baseball. It's not that uncommon. The problem is the A's scouted so bad and they traded so poorly that we are now looking at one of the worst teams ever assembled. But I don't think this organizational failure was an accident. I think he looked at the situation objectively, devoid of any compassion whatsoever, and he told himself, if I can make the on-field product horrible and I can make the game day experience even worse, I can drive the attendance numbers to a point that's so low I could take it to the commissioner and say, baseball in Oakland will not work. In my view, this was a controlled demolition, and unfortunately, it worked. But some of you contrarians may be asking yourselves, why would Fisher and the A's not want to go to Vegas? Wouldn't you move to Vegas? Highly desirable location with a rabid fan base? Seems like a no-brainer. Sure. There's a case to be made that moving to Las Vegas makes business sense. But let me explain why owning a sports franchise is different than being an executive at Gap, for example. By taking over ownership of a sports franchise, you take on the responsibility of representing that fan base's passion, their core values, and in some extreme cases, their characteristics. I'm here to tell you that there isn't an owner who's worse at this than John Fisher. He's been the majority owner and now the full owner of this franchise for almost 2 decades, and I don't even think you can find 20 pictures of him at an A's game. He's been treating this franchise as nothing more than a cash cow since the beginning. In my opinion, there really isn't another way to explain his decisions. The A's have been taking advantage of the league's revenue sharing system for years and invested the least amount of money possible towards fielding a competitive team, the whole point of the system in the first place, while simultaneously ignoring the organization's infrastructure and crying poverty while they do it. Which is weird because the main excuse they've been using to not use that money for fielding a competitive team is they've been funneling it towards development. You'd think that between the money that they've been saving up with the $375 million that the city of Oakland was able to scrounge up, that they'd be able to make it happen. But with Fisher constantly moving the goalposts in negotiations with Fremont, San Jose, Laney, and now Howard Terminal, I think it's come to the point where Fisher has made his attitude and his feelings about the city of Oakland pretty clear. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out why the MLB's new rules will save baseball while destroying it, or check out why Rowdy Tellez could be the next Pete Alonso. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there.